3 came out in 2019 and everyone was like,
Mom, can you pick me up? I'm scared.
the game was relatively praised on the critical surface for its fun gameplay and high production value, but when you dive just a little deeper into the depths of the fan circles, it was the definition of discourse. Trust me, I was there, fighting the good fight. The Kingdom Hearts community has always been passionate, to say the least, but when one of the most anticipated games of their lifetime did not entirely meet expectations, reality became the hardest pill to swallow.
It was a big disappointment.
But while the fandom duked it out in the Denny's parking lot and every rando game reviewer fell to their greatest weakness, research, Kingdom Hearts 3 snuck out while no one was looking to become one of the best-selling games of 2019. Even though fans were quick to call out the flaws, after a few minor patches and a DLC that blasted everyone's pants right off into the ER, but in a hot way, the general consensus eventually leveled out to, yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 was pretty neat. After a self-admitted too early announcement back in 2013, the game had a rather hefty development cycle due to an engine switch, the series director being yanked in 8 different directions with a company in creative and financial turmoil, and excessive quality control from the mouse. But despite all odds, KH3's marketing and trailers consistently enthused fans and intrigued newcomers with its spectacle and grandeur, successfully fueling the hype train non-stop all the way to release.
This is so wrong!
Yes!
Oh my god, this is f***ing insane! Oh! Oh! Oh!
So good! It looks so good!
Oh my god!
Oh my god, I'm just so happy!
Wait, you too! Oh my god! Oh my goodness!
Oh yeah, those were the days. Built up to be a grand conclusion to the main villain's storyline and a starting point for the hero's next adventure, Kingdom Hearts 3 incorporated aspects of the whole series into one massive modern magical mess because it had 15 plus years worth of interconnected Kingdom Hearts crap to cram in. Yeah, don't believe your lying eyes, y'all, cause this ain't a 3. If we zoom in just a little bit closer, you get, aha! Baggage. But even if you're more of a carry-on person, the game was still a vibrant Disney and Pixar blowout that showed off the best, brightest, and most expensive aspects of the film for anyone to enjoy. Because God knows newcomers weren't going to be able to follow the original story at all.
I knew it!
But anyway, if you're new to Kingdom Hearts 3, here are a bunch of tips, tricks, and heads up for people who don't know about this game. So once again, you play as the beloved pretty boy with big dreams and even bigger psychological problems, Sora.
Baba Booey.
After the events of Kingdom Hearts 2.8, where we learn the true meaning of Inception and time travel,
What?
the story begins with Master Yen Sid and all of his bug-eyed wisdom gathering up the crew to give them some guidance on how to start the plot. So because Sora didn't do too hot on his Keyblade Master exam,
Loser!
the poor boy never gained the power of waking, which is kinda necessary to get anything done. So needing a sense of direction on how to tap into his Gigaheart powers, the gang heads off to the land of the strong and bulgy, the fan-favorite world of Olympus, kicking off the long-awaited journey of a lifetime. Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Don't forget, I can always turn up the heat!
Okay, so after the tutorial in Olympus, where you help God Dad and learn jack all about getting Sora's needed powers, Kingdom Hearts 3 starts off with the heroes planning out the best way to save Aqua, the lost Keyblade Master who was casually abandoned in the realm of darkness for 10 years, losing her McFrickin' mind.
The darkness in this place, it's getting to me.
Oh. But you'll be okay.
Oh, screw you, rat. But getting her back is suddenly a top priority now, because she happens to be the only person who knows what part of the Bed Bath & Beyond she left Coma Boy Ventus in. But the other problem looming over the boys is how they are going to take out Xehanort, the series' main villain and the dude behind all of the dark shenanigans. The several dudes. Yes, these are all Xehanort in one way or another. Except them. I'm not really sure what their deal is, but the silver-haired kids, along with some of the older pleather pals, have the super best buddies and a little bit of a catch-22, minus the 2, because Xehanort needs to clash his new 13 darknesses with 7 lights in order to complete his grand master plan to conquer Kingdom Hearts. But like, the real one this time. But in order to stop the guy, they're gonna have to fight the guy, which is kind of what he wants. So, oh boy. So, knowing that their fated clash is unavoidable because the organization is holding the Plan B Hearts of Lights hostage, the gang focuses on finding ways to recover their lost friends, gather their resources, reminisce about their old models, and protect the worlds against
Darkness.
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 Darkness. Darkness.
Darkness.
But the point of all of this crap is to prepare for the final battle. It's a full schedule, y'all. So Riku and Mickey partner up once again to track down Aqua and their buddy rom-com adventure in the realm of darkness. All while Sora, Donald, and Goofy set off to thwart the new Organization 13 Xehanort Extreme's mischievous plans throughout the various Disney and Pixar worlds, trying to help folks wherever they can, however they can.
Nice throw!
All in the hopes of activating Sora's waking almonds or something. Oh yeah, and while all this is happening, Kairi and Lee are Keyblade training in a frozen timescape, eating ice cream, and talking about their feelings. Things that they're doing. That. But by lending a helping hand, the gang hopes to gain the powers they need to save Aqua, defeat Xehanort, and restore balance between light and darkness, all before lunch. But along the way, you'll meet slapstick, destruction physics, name-calling,
Come out, you
bench warmers, product placement, like the whole thing.
I'm a savage, classy, bougie, ratchet.
Evil X's, my precious smarty pants baby boy, stone cold bitch, jarring 3D, breaking the 3.9 wall, knock off Instagram, stuff from the mobile game you won't understand. Robot people, darkness haircuts, canned darkness, smelly darkness, briefly visiting the 100-acre woods, talking in really inconvenient tall places.
I don't require human.
Oh, I can't hear anything. May your key be your guiding heart or whatever.
Is any of this for real? Or not?
I don't know. Is it? Omniscient stuffed animals, Final Fantasy character cameos, Pinterest purgatory. Holy crap, what was the budget for this thing? The Destiny Trio.
This is my boyfriend Derek. This is Derek's boyfriend Ben.
Yeah.
Lean Cuisine, Evil.exe, contest winners, Seeing Quadruple. Wasting your time, mommy issues,
Did I stutter?
animation flexes.
This is Sora, Goofy, and Donald.
Yeah, that just feels wrong, doesn't it? Windows 420, Time Travel 101, not Noctis, we promise. Chess metaphors. Oh my god, no, chess! What's in the box? You know, I almost forgot these guys were in the game, and I actually had to go back and re-record this line, so, that's a fun fact for you. Crying, confusion,
What?
depression, twist, turns, pure unbridled joy, and after all of these years, Xehanort finally getting what's coming to him.
I don't know what we just saw, but wow.
So yeah, this is a story full of spunk, character, and of course, heart. Needless to say, Kingdom Hearts 3 has a lot going on, and this is where I gotta speak some hard truths if you want to get the full experience. Yes, you need to know all of the other games in order for Kingdom Hearts 3 to totally make sense. This is not a suggestion, this is a warning. And don't think you're a one-in-a-million big thunker that can piece your way through this. Folks have tried, but ultimately, cutting corners on this is just gonna hurt your head.
Oh, yeah, the log terminal.
You don't know what he said.
Oh, and what? You do?
This is a continuation of everything that came before, so the game expects you to know all of the references, motives, world lore, and it's loaded with familiar faces only fans will know.
Big boobs.
Yes!
What?
Come on! Gimme!
Child. Anyway, so...
Now, there are quick plot catch-up videos that you can watch in the menus, but sadly, they're a little too vague for real context. But don't panic, newcomers. Getting to the whole series is easier than ever before. Yep, it's time to shill with the Kingdom Hearts All-in-One Collection. Or the Kingdom Hearts Story So Far collection if you got Kingdom Hearts 3 already. I promise Square is not paying me, guys, but they could be if they wanted to, you know, just saying, wink, wink, wonk, wonk. Yes, the entire series is accessible with the collections. You too can now enjoy these classic titles in glorious HD at 60 frames per second.
They'll pay for this.
Wicked sick.
And hey, if you think Kingdom Hearts 3 is the only game worth your time because it's the fanciest looking one, you're wrong. You're just wrong. Okay, but for reals, don't feel like you have to play every game, cause oh boy. Watching cutscenes can get you caught up too, no problem. But I don't recommend just reading story synopsis, cause the Kingdom Hearts plot on paper just doesn't sound right sometimes.
Meanwhile, Riku chooses to reject the peaceful sleep of the Realm of Darkness and is pulled through a corridor of darkness to the basement of the castle. He makes his way through the castle with the assistance of King Mickey Mouse while fending off the temptations of Ansem, who's left a piece of himself within Riku's heart and wants Riku to return to being his host, as well as repelling attacks from Vexen, Luxeus, Zexion, and their Riku replica, who want to use Riku as a weapon to counter Marluxia's use of Sora? I don't get it.
The one exception to the reading rule, though, is the mobile game, Kingdom Hearts Union. No, get the hell out of here. Okay, so the collection will give you 95% of the necessary information, but if you want to go the extra mile to become a Kingdom Hearts big brainer, then reading, watching, or if you're really brave, playing Kingdom Hearts Union is guaranteed to open up your third eye with a crowbar. Wait a second, he did what in the past? I sure wish this wasn't the case though, but what you gonna do? Square Enix just loves that mobile money and decided to put a lot of interesting plot stuff in there for some reason, and oh, and go figure, this being a Disney adventure and all, knowing the films is gonna give you a leg up since the Disney worlds either rehash the plot points of the original with Sora, Donald, and Goofy just being there, or it takes place after the films with a new little storyline.
Maybe it would be faster to just break it.
Oh, that's brilliant!
Now, you should know that the Disney doesn't play into the main plot that much. It's mostly about why Organization 13 is messing around there and the life lessons we learn along the way.
My guess is no one's ever loved you before.
You don't need to know anything to have fun. Of course, knowing the context makes the experience considerably more rewarding if you decide to take that plunge, but without context, this is a wild, wacky adventure with infectious charm for the kids and dark melodrama that will intrigue the adults. As I've always said, Kingdom Hearts is gateway emo culture for the whole family. Now, while KH3 wraps up a bunch of major character story arcs, it was never intended to be the last game in the series. So get ready for some open-ended story stuff that will kick your theory brain into maximum overdrive for what comes next. Put those arms up, y'all, cause the ride definitely doesn't stop here.
Hooray! Oh, I am so tired.
Okay, so story crap aside, what the heck do you even do in this anime House of Mouse extravaganza?
Oh god, how did this get here? Wrong clip. Cut the ties, cut the feed. Cut the feed!
Well, similar to past games, Kingdom Hearts 3 is roughly a 30-hour, semi-linear experience where you jump from Disney World to Disney World, defeating enemies, completing objectives, and seeing the sights. Gotta love the sound of the city. Once you set the oven temperature for your journey and your future dreams, the game immediately throws you into the thick of things, with Olympus setting the pace as the tutorial, one of the reoccurring worlds in the series, which helps give some perspective on the fact that the levels are extra hunky now. I mean, check out the glow up. You got scale, environments packed to the brim, and these NPCs are thriving! And they're everywhere! I mean, check. But after all the hercalabaloo, we're blasting! Yeah! You'll get your new fancy official Kingdom Hearts 3 outfits. The theme of the year was plaid, apparently, followed by a quick pickup stop to converge with the rest of the cast via Skype in Twilight Town. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Correction. 1/7 of Twilight Town. But past all of that, you'll get access to
space,
where the real game begins. So you'll be visiting a variety of worlds from films like Toy Story, Monsters Inc., Frozen,
copyright trademark, all rights reserved,
Daddy's Tangled Adventure, and the classic Pirates of the Caribbean 3. Yeah, you know, the best one. Now, the worlds are introduced in sets of 2, where you get to pick which one you fly to first, and once you're done with both, the next set unlocks. Of course, if this overwhelming choice stresses you out, then going in the recommended level order ain't a bad idea. Pro gamer strats! But once you are in a world, here is what you can expect. Sora, Donald, and Goofy crash land in the middle of something important. Immediately have to fight some enemies, do your little song and dance cast meet and greet, realize the homosexuals are up to something shady, make your way through the world by kicking heads and solving problems, eventually get distracted by voluptuous darkness, or get launched into the sky constantly. Experience a classical musical moment, then you fight a boss, save the day, and get showered in praise. So it's a one and done, moving on, no looking back kind of deal. Well, actually, you can leave and return from any world at any time via the lovely save portals, but story-wise, you won't be back. So job well done, fellas. Take a good look, because this is the last time you'll see them.
Oh, great. One disaster after another. Now I gotta deal with teenagers. This day just keeps getting worse and worse. First, Celia dumps me and says she's gonna take the kids. Then someone parks in my spot. Then someone steals my favorite pen and clogs up the toilet.
But each world is unique in design, objectives, and mechanics, making you do a whole range of weird stuff, from pole dancing in the ball pits to sliding through a cursed snow globe and even drowning Rapunzel. The party just doesn't stop, because then you got stuff like boat races, teaching Boo the wonders of comedy, Caucasian conga lines, chasing down that fat, juicy, frosty merchandise, light-up obstacle courses, and the absolute unplayable breaking point for some folks, crab catching.
I caught crabs in paradise. And yes, I mean both kinds of crabs.
But even though the game constantly shakes things up, the story will, for the most part, guide you along, and your objectives will always be as clear as day in the corner, giving you all of the immediate info on your current goal, and the same can be found within the menus. So you'll never be confused on what you're supposed to be doing, but you might be confused on why.
Ah, crap.
But in between your objectives, you can run around to your heart's content. Maybe take in the scenery, play around in the snow, drink some water, burn some grass, just play at your own pace. Of course, the extent of your freedom varies, since some worlds are more linear, being a conveyor belt of wonders where the way forward is obvious, if not a little hazardous. While other worlds are just wide open jungle gyms with too many invisible walls. So navigation can be confusing sometimes, though the verticality and open space, and during your first playthrough, you might get lost and turned around a bit.
Oh god, not the perfume department!
But you'll be able to unlock mini-maps in chests to show you what can be explored. Problem is that they're really only for tunnel vision lovers, since they are locked in the corner and cannot be expanded upon. So don't rely on them for directions. Sometimes you just gotta go rogue and fling yourself into the nether to find what you're looking for.
Oh yeah!
Oh my god, he's here! We did it, guys! Sora made it in the Smash! Oh no.
So you won't be overwhelmed, trust me, but to make sure that you progress smoothly, it is best to take your time, explore thoroughly, and look for anything that can be interacted with, like barrels, railings, statue cankles, baby birds, and of course, the obvious stuff.
Shake that healthy butt. Baby got ballet.
Now, once you're all said and done with the world's story events, if you do decide to return, there will be a good amount of little changes and optional challenges worth checking out if you are going for that 100% completion. down. And if not, there is still plenty to see, stuff to do, and people to talk to.
There's talk of an island in the north that's lush and
Okay, now y'all are just being dramatic. He's not that boring.
Alrighty, so that's the gist of what you'll be doing, but let's move on to how you'll be doing it. Much like past bigger titles, gameplay-wise, Kingdom Hearts 3 is a real-time action JRPG. Well, technically that would make it an ARPG, huh? I guess, if you count the... Who cares? The point is, there are some numbers involved in the background, you gain powers and abilities the more you kill stuff, and you kill stuff by smacking enemies around with a mutant key and so many sparkles it'll burn your retinas out. KH3 is basically a combat amalgamation of past games' battle systems, meaning it's extra because it's legally obligated to be. So you'll be fighting a lot. Sometimes it's your main objective, and then it's between every main objective. What can I say? The boys be out here to throw down. The enemies come in all shapes and sizes, too. Rather it be an army of killer cotton balls, uncanny possessed toys, a unit of sharp beef, or ugly.
Just like your face.
Everyone does something different, but when it comes to basic hordes, you'll be fighting the same way. Your way! Because there is a lot of options. Like even before you fight anything, you're given options, with Sora's Build-A-Boy windows letting you pick where you want to pack the punch.
Welcome to McBuild-A-Boy. Where do you want your package loaded?
First-timers who hate decisions go with this, just saying. But as you play through the game, Sora will gradually unlock a whole arsenal of moves and doohickeys to use. So let's break it down, shall we? Okay, but for reals, there's a lot of crap, so listen up. Starting off simple and clearly not realistic, Sora's movement and fighting basics. Look, he's a limber boy, and you're gonna be moving a lot. So from the get-go, you can jog, jump, air dash, roll, slide on rails, activate torpedo mode, run vertically up any shiny walls, body flop from the sky into a grand slam,
skip it up and that up,
and eventually near the end, fly. You know, like most people. But obviously, the slicker you are, the harder you are to hit, and by extension, not die. So, keep those legs up and watch out! Now, your normal combat moves are a few Keyblade combos and a very useful guard that smart people use, but you'll probably forget. And then completely free of charge, as long as there's something to kick off of, Flow Motion, where you lube yourself up in glitter and slide around while trying to hit stuff. Honestly, in most fights, it's only really worth using if you're trying to play Don't Touch the Floor, but the thing that is actually worth using, if you really want to be slick, is Sora's Air Step. Alrighty, so literally at any given moment, you can activate what I like to call Slow Down, Hoedown mode. Yeah, we like to have fun here. Howdy, y'all. But it narrows your view to a ring for a limited time, letting you observe your surroundings calmly and casually.
What the f is that?
Now here's the deal. When you see golden pinging squares in the environment, you can use the SD's Air Step to fling yourself to them at literal light speed. And this thing's got range, baby.
Oops, overshot it.
This also applies to enemies as well, so you can zip, zap, slap your way to most targets at any time. Please note that the Air Step is incredibly useful for both exploration and combat, so just remember, y'all, that running is for suckers, and we have progressed past the need for legs. Use it!
Who am I? Captain Jack Sparrow.
But you might forget the SDHD can even do this, cause you could be distracted by the sound of the Keyblade charging up ready to explode. Yes, in this view during combat, assuming you have enough brain cells, you can use shot locks, which are as simple as look around, lock on, and let go. They're powerful, accurate, bright, and each Keyblade gets a unique shot lock with 2 variations, one for when the lock gets maxed and one for when it doesn't, so know the difference.
Let's crush them! Oh no!
Either way, they will pulverize anything you point them at, so use them wisely and focus like you mean it. But speaking of blowing stuff up, don't forget your iconic Disney magic. Now, your magics are gradually unlocked and upgraded as you progress through the game, but as long as you got some blue stuff in the bar, then you can rain holy elemental hell on anything in your way.
Strike!
Effective. But on top of melting faces off, some magic's got a little useful, zesty twist. So starting from the top, we got fire, as in fire, where the Keyblade fires a big old ball of fire. Fire. And then you got water, which gives you a little defense swirly wall before it flushes a target. And then there's water, but colder, letting you chuck ice at whatever, while also being a makeshift grind rail in case you want to slip out or into trouble. When you want to tase your way out of a toughie, you got thunder, a literal shock death radius. It's kinda neat. And if you feel like giving the boys a little spin around, there's arrow, or alternatively, the Sora Sorin 9000. But the last actual saving grace magic is Cure, your go-to way to keep everyone alive, and also the greediest one, because it eats the whole thing up. So most of the magics are offensive, and high-key very, very overpowered. Not to mention, some enemies are weak to their effects, like freezing and burning. However, so is Sora, so be mindful of that.
Attention shoppers, could the parents of protagonists come get their kid? They're on fire again.
But because magic is very effective, this is a big, friendly PSA to use the magic quick commands with the shoulder buttons so you can actually get good. Please do not forget this. This is important and useful and important, and I'm sorry if this is annoying. I'm just tired of hearing folks complain for years about having to use the long command menus after every new game releases. Please, for God's sake, just read the instructions. It's always been there! Alrighty, now that's just one side of Sora's pack pockets, because now we're moving on to the real heavy hitters. They're green, they're mean, and they're called situation commands, which there are many. All you gotta do is use basic attacks to build up this little gauge right here, and once you max it out, bada bing bada boom, your options open up for a limited time. The most common and useful command being Sora's Keyblade transformations. Sticking with the theme, Sora can have 3 Keyblades equipped at a time, letting you switch on the fly so quickly I can sing to this song. Reason being is cause Keyblade transformations flare up Sora's fashion and drastically change your moveset and range. And every Keyblade's got 2 different forms with special finishes.
Come on!
Let it go! I have to play that every time, God.
From killer yo-yos to huge wet wigglies, honey nut bees, massive meaty counter fisting,
Leave me alone, I'm having fun.
Nerf-powered machine guns, Bitcoin hammers, and the Sundance light-up rave. Don't talk to me or my sons ever again. The transformations are really your main way of fighting though, and all have a huge variety of attacks. So with that, please note, if you build up enough gauges, you can have multiple forms active at once by simply switching the Keyblade. So you can show them the old sticky glitter claw, and then give them the sauce. But there is a situation command for everything, including your magics. All you gotta do is use a magic, build up the gauge, and then you might get the chance to set off a nuke totally free of blue charge.
Take this!
It's a fair trade. Now, these commands are the most consistent since they're determined by what you're currently using. But past these, stuff gets, random and extra. Alrighty, fasten your seatbelts, y'all. So while in combat, killing enemies with these little green symbols will give you a random attraction flow situation command. And it's exactly what it sounds like.
Oh God, here it comes. No, turn it off! Turn it off!
Seizure warning, I guess, cause they're just the Disneyland rides, but deadly.
Die.
Oh yeah, y'all get to destroy darkness with the likes of the teacups, the carousel, the blasters, and the mountain coaster, along with a few others, assuming you have the fast pass, of course. Point is, attraction flows are noisy and busy as and control like a Roomba with a grudge. They do a ton of damage, you'll get them often, and yes, you will constantly trigger them on accident because they're needy!
Welcome to the Magic Kingdom of Disneyland.
Oh, God, it's loud!
But ignoring the migraine machines, there are team attacks, which also pop up randomly. However, it all depends on who's with you. Yes, along with your adoptive parents, Donald and Goofy, you'll have an array of Disney characters that join in on the darkness battling, who all feature their own special team attacks. Now, your comrades join your party automatically and are controlled by an AI, so don't worry about them while on the field. They are perfectly capable of taking care of themselves. But with the sheer power of friendship or acquaintances that just met or whatever, you can pull off moves like the spinning workout sesh, the cowboy bee blast off, the back and forth hair whip, booty breakdowns,
balls,
and throwing Goofy to wherever he's needed.
Get him!
He's a big boy, he can take it.
You're really at the mercy of the game's RNG to give you any of these though, but team attacks are effective, fast, and most prevent you from taking damage while in them. So always pop those suckers when you see them, cause Donald's got a lot of pent-up rage that needs getting out.
Oh, god damn it, guys, that's the wrong game. Well, kinda, I guess if you don't count the... Who cares? Shut it down!
Now, notice how situation commands can often change up the button layouts, which can mess with your accuracy or cause you to accidentally cancel out attacks the second you start them. So be mindful of what buttons do what, and that can really be said for the rest of the gameplay outside of Sora's military might, cause each world has special gameplay instances where you control Sora controlling something else.
Sora, you got a little fast there, buddy. Can you not turn so quickly when you're accelerating? Oh my god, he can't run!
But seriously, from sledding through fire and ice, to piloting short-tempered mechs,
trash,
to full-on pirate boat warfare destruction, just be ready for things to change on a whim. But honestly, these mechanics are very basic. Just keep moving and double-check those buttons with your eyeballs before you do anything risky. But after deeply analyzing the typical player habits over at the Buns Research Division, Oh, that's right. 1 second. We're proud to be very adaptable over here at the BRD. Be safe, everybody. But there are some helpful gameplay nuances that I want to highlight in this segment of stuff the tutorial blurb tells you, but you'll glance over it anyway. Sponsored by... What the f***? I'm not reading all that. Alrighty, starting off. Y'all, there is a button to cycle through your situation commands if you get stacked. Pick what you want, do what you want, blow up what you want, okay? You can build the command gauge with any attack, but the Keyblade you're holding when it gets maxed out will be the one that gets the form change. And note that the timer doesn't go down when it's not in use, aka put some tinfoil on that thing to keep it warm, alright? If you really insist on using the long command menus like a weirdo, then you can change it from active to slow in the configurations, which borderline freezes gameplay so you can think about your options, and it's also how you view the slow-mo smack cam. Aerial recovery is your friend. Be sure to pop it anytime you get knocked into the air, but sadly, you do not get it until the Toy Story world for some reason, so you gotta deal with Limp Noodle Sora for a bit. Guarding is the main way to defend yourself in this game, and it becomes crucial in tougher fights, so again, big brain it up and guard, and don't forget to guard! Some magic's area of effect are different in certain forms, so remember that before you start spamming stuff and missing all of your shots. It's embarrassing. Tired of looking at fancy camera angles and animations cause you got to do? Good news, cause you can turn off the long transformations in the menu settings. Okay, now the data says I have to bring this one up cause apparently it's a lot more common than I thought, but PSA, you can rotate the boat. And that's how you go for their throats. Now, all of this combat stuff may sound like a lot, cause it is, but chances are you won't use everything. You won't remember to switch keyblades or use what's in the environment or that summons are in this game at all. Wait a second. Oh, dang it. Alright, speedrun time, y'all. So summons are similar to team attacks, but it's with a bunch of characters Sora keeps on speed dial.
Give me strength!
Where's Ralph? He should be wrecking the building.
You can activate them at any time with a full MP bar, they last way longer, and they hurt like hell in their own special way. Pretty useful if you want colorful company and don't feel like getting hit. And time! Alright, moving on. But try to experiment as much as possible, cause why not? Like, look at all this crazy crap you can do if you try. Of course, depending on the difficulty, you can just coast on by with your personal faves, since most of the moves are spammable cartoon carnage overkill. But speaking of difficulties, Kingdom Hearts 3 has 4 modes to pick from that get locked in at the start of a new game. You got beginner, standard, proud, and the toughest choice, critical mode. You know, if you like pain.
Well...
Oh no! Oh, God! Oh, never mind! Oh, you don't kill a boss, because I have one more hit on him, and he's a giant tornado right now.
But an average playthrough isn't any harder than getting into the whole series itself, because it's easier than ever with the
Kingdom Hearts all in one package.
Okay, so you've got Sora, who's a child with a big key but never uses it to break into any houses, and Mickey Mouse, who's on the front cover of every single game that isn't in any of the games. They work together but mostly never work together in order to stop his best friend Riku, who's actually Ansem the Wise, who's actually Xehanort, who's actually Terra, who's actually Old Xehanort, who's actually a raisin, who's actually a pair of dungarees. And in order to win, Sora needs to work together with all of his friends, including Kairi, who never says or does anything, Donald Duck, who never shuts the f*** up, and Goofy, who dies but then comes back to life 10 minutes later. Eventually, they save all of the Disney worlds by singing Under the Sea very terribly, while Cloud from Final Fantasy VII stands there and moans all day because he lost a fight with the previously mentioned child with a big key. Reconnect!
So fighting and probing the Disney worlds is what you're going to be doing the most, but try not to get too caught up in the superficial hullabaloo, cause let's be real, it can be very distracting. But what really makes a game an RPG anyway, Let's say it all together now. Nerd! Numbers! Yeah, welcome to Backend Management with me. This stuff is kind of important, so let's slow it down, count it up, look at some charts, power up some hearts, and... But seriously, since the gang unlocks new items and abilities as you progress, it's important to check the menu often to prep your party so you don't stay stinky and outdated. Now, getting new moves is as simple as turning the ability on with AP points, which don't get burned up, so you're free to move them around if you want. And you may feel inclined to turn everything on if you got the points, but I'm here to say, no! Look, I'm sure everyone watching this is very smart, especially since you subscribed. You incredibly smart person, you. But be sure to actually read what the abilities do, because some of these take up a lot of points and aren't really worth it, especially in this economy. The names may look fancy, but the devil is in the details, and so is the damage, but the numbers really start to show with your equipment. As mentioned before, you got your 3 Keyblade slots, but then there's armor, meant for defense and holding your pants up, followed by accessories, which boost your offense through bling bling alone, and then field recovery items, your juice packs on demand to keep you from dying and eating
It can't be.
Oh, get up, you big faker. Go get him.
But notice that some equipment have passive abilities, like magic boost, freeze resistance, hair volumizer, and raining free money. So once again, read them for the best effects. Now, there is a lot of gear and items you'll collect throughout the world, but your main way of managing and obtaining items is through the shops, who are, once again, run by the cash money Moogles.
Don't be frugal, shop at Moogles. Or else.
Okay, so the Moogle Mafia can be found in every world, and they are your go-to way to buy and sell items, weapons, gear, treats, and materials, for a price of course. But more importantly, you can use their workshop, which can synthesize better gear and weapons with materials you find throughout the world. Neat! And since your Keyblades change up your moves, and everyone's got a favorite, in order to keep them all viable and equally powerful, there is the Keyblade Forge, which allows you to upgrade their stats, assuming you have the items. But sometimes you won't, and that's when things get tense.
I warned you. No Damascus means no respect. So, sweet dreams, twink boy.
But the point of all this back-end management crap is to have high stat numbers across the board. The higher the numbers, the bigger the bang. And the way to totally max out your stats to become the ultimate combat master is to eat French food. Yeah, oui baguette everybody. SuperButterBuns here, ready to tell you what's on tonight's menu. It's rats. So early on in the game, you'll come across Little Chef, aka Not Ratatouille, who will assist you in making exquisite cuisines that buff the f*** out of Sora when consumed. But you gotta do a handful of cooking mini-games at the Twilight Town Bistro in order to get the goods. And I mean many. The tutorials will give you the gist, but they're wicked short, and accuracy really is the key here. It is incredibly easy to mess up any of these if you are careless. Oops! And I don't know if it's because I was cursed with big gamer hands, but the egg-breaking one feels like it was designed for brain surgeons. Oops! Oh god, Duck, we're losing them. We're losing them! Catch is, though, to do any of these mini games, you need the proper ingredients. And luckily, a lot can be bought from the shops, but specific stuff is pillaged throughout the world, like at the bottom of the ocean or at a creepy dark alley. Quality ingredients! But you'll know you're near something you can pick up, because the cast won't shut the f up about it.
I bet we'll find some ingredients around here.
Hope we find some ingredients around here.
I bet we'll find some ingredients around here.
Hope we find some ingredients around here. Hope we find some ingredients around here.
Finally. Oh, peace. Tranquility. Okay. I can breathe. Y'all ever just think? Like for a long time? Like a little bit too long for a long time? Yeah. Well, I've been thinking. I've been looking for some clarity in my life recently. Taking this year to really slow down and contemplate. To figure out who I really am, honestly. And I think I finally understand. It's been a long time coming, guys. And I feel bad for keeping everybody waiting. But does anyone else feel like Goofy's kinda hot? But once you have enough dishes, it's as easy as selecting your courses in the cuisine menu, inhaling them, and bam! You got buff for a limited time, and suddenly everything dies a lot faster. But different dish combinations have different effects besides just boosting your stats, like experience and money boost. So, links down below for all of the recipes to have the tastiest, most lucrative treats. Soup's on, baby! Woohoo!
Is the food ready yet?
So that's all the stuff you'll be doing the most in the main game, but let's move on to the extras, the optionals, the things thrown in for the funsies. Starting with the gummy ship. Yay? Okay, so I skimmed over the low polygon intergalactic space travel earlier because 90% of it is optional. You can just beeline straight for each new world and fight the bare minimum, cause once the world is unlocked, you never have to manually fly to it ever again. Pretty convenient if you're not the best navigator. So, with that being said, the gummy ship! For when you feel like it. You got wide open space to explore filled with asteroids, treasures, rock buffets, collectibles, eccentric landmarks, speed suction tunnels, and enemy battles, which are normally some kind of huge boss ship you just unload on, or hordes of basic babies where you try to get the highest score. Oh great, now it's mocking me. You have total freedom when flying around, so it's really just a matter of shooting, bobbing, and weaving to wherever. But there's really no point in cosmic globetrotting if you don't look cute. And luckily, you can unlock tons of ship blueprints to pimp out your travels. We are balling out here! Or you can make your own in the Gummy Editor. Now, obviously, building elaborate stuff requires materials and treasures, especially if you want to jazz it up with guns, tiny ships, and decorations. But you'll never be without the necessities as long as you complete side missions, and you're free to purchase the basic goods from the shop whenever. Hello! Oh, God! But regardless, if you want to do any of this extra crap, just remember that space never looked this fly before. But who cares about boring old space? Cause the optional thing you'll be encouraged to do the most is finding lucky emblems. It's like a hidden Mickey for you Disney adults out there, you weirdos. So early on in the game, Sora is gifted the Gummy Phone, also known as a phone. But you can use it to take pictures at any time, anywhere, at anything. Like you can even whip it out during combat. But the main usage is to get shots of lucky emblems hidden all throughout the worlds. Cause he is everywhere. Some emblems are incredibly obvious to find because they stick out like a sore thumb, but others are hidden in more subtle ways, like only being visible through a forced perspective or disguised as property damage. Point is, if you see one, take the picture right then and there, because if you find enough, you'll receive special items and gear that are pretty worth it. But if you don't feel like going on a scavenger hunt, you are always welcome to take pictures of your pals, because they will happily pose for you when you point the camera at them.
You want to take my picture? All right.
But if you're really bored, there is Classic Kingdom, mini games that you collect on your journey that can be played on your phone through the power of QR codes. The future is now, y'all. But there are 23 to collect, with riveting games like golf, taxi driving, filing your taxes, mowing the lawn, and cleaning out your shower. All totally packed full of 2 frames per second action. Okay, yeah, they are just here, basic as hell, borderline tedious, but low-key kind of adorable, I won't lie. Regardless, you might totally forget about them entirely, but it's okay. Anyway, we're moving on, cause an extra that's kinda hard to ignore are the appear in every Disney World after you complete them. It's just a matter of finding their set location, complimenting their hat and nails to get them to come out, and then they will reward you with abilities and precious cuisine ingredients, as long as you play their little games.
Oh, don't be scared.
But yeah, each land's got something different, like sliding through pudding, serving the spinning tea, happy cannon fun times, and bouncing to not get imbibed. Pretty simple stuff, but don't get it twisted. These gals got standards, so get ready for a few retries if you're trying to get the high scores for the best rewards.
You're worthless!
What do you want from me, game?
But that's all the cutesy optional stuff. If you're looking for Pro Gamer Combat Challenge, then there are the Battle Gates. You got 14 of these spiky doodads scattered throughout the world that unlock near the end, and each vary in enemies and difficulty. What's nice is that these can be replayed as many times as you want, and they are great spots for grinding money and experience if you want to reach max level 99. And being at a high level helps if you want to take on extra bosses. And assuming you only have the base game, you can fight the showstopper lineup of Dark Inferno von Fartscarf. And that's it. Yeah, no, it sucks. I'm sorry, guys. The real high-level extras are actually in the purchasable DLC KH3 Remind, which I highly recommend if you want the full experience and to know what hurt really feels like. We paid
$30
for this?
I paid $40.
So Remind's got a few things going for it. First is the post-game alternative story scenario, aka Remind, which adds a new perspective to the game's ending and lets you play as other characters during the boss rush, while also letting you explore an area you wish you could have explored in the base game. They also give Kyrie a gun, and it's awesome. Obviously, no major spoilers here, but while this is important additional story stuff, I'm gonna note that this does not change the ending of the base game at all, and Remind's content is only understandable after you have experienced the original ending. So pay close attention to the weird offbeat moments in your first go, and get ready to big brain it up after the fact. Trust me, it does make sense. Kinda. Now, the second hunk of the content in the DLC is the Limit Cut episode, which has post-game story bits. But it's mostly there to introduce the 13 data bosses, revamped and enhanced versions of the new Organization 13 Xehanort Extremes battles that are designed to bully the living piss out of Sora. And if you manage to survive and beat all 13, then you unlock the secret episode, where you are rewarded with a million questions, 2006 nostalgia, and Dylan Sprouse blast beaming you on sight.
Bye.
But Limit Cut and the secret episode have the most challenging content in the game, so it's best to go in mega prepared with a lot of items and patience.
Leaving?
But if you're really not eager to get slapped around by hot people just to obtain Kingdom Hearts knowledge nirvana, then of course watching Remind's content will suffice. However, if you ignore all the story stuff in the DLC, you still get the premium menus, advanced difficulty options that you can toggle to either make your experience simple and clean with the easy codes or complicated and dirty with the pro codes. Now, you can only pick one menu at the start of a new game depending if you want easy or hard, or you can unlock both if you complete the secret episode, which is easier said than done.
Nope.
Regardless, they are worth checking out just because it's really satisfying to one-shot kill some of these chumps. But the last feature of the DLC is the Data Greetings, an elaborate photo mode that lets you place and pose the cast models in most of the game's scenery, which also has a slideshow feature. So this is very much worth it if you are looking to create your own little scenarios of God knows what. They're so cute. We're getting close to the end here, I promise, but here are a bunch of tips and things you should know before you get started. Chat up literally anybody you see when you first revisit a world, because some of the NPCs got the extras you're looking for. The Moogles offer little picture quests for items if you're tired of snapping Mickey's massive mouse forehead all day. If you want to take on the extra ship bosses in the Caribbean, you gotta load up on crabs to beef your boat up to stand a chance at all. In order to unlock some of these special gummy ships, you need to take pictures of their constellations, which you shouldn't have a tough time seeing. They're kind of obvious. Accidentally get sucked into a gummy ship fight you don't want to do? Great news, because you can abandon the battle from the menu whenever, like a coward. Be sure to peep Donald and Goofy's customize options so you can set their actions to prioritize Sora at all costs, because then Donald will be forced to heal you. You can equip all levels of magic in the shortcuts now, so you can either hit folks with a snowflake or an iceberg. It's really up to you. Summons require a full MP bar in order to be used. Remember that before you bet your entire life on their iframes. Once you get the late game glide ability, you can use it anywhere endlessly. Like you can even drag race on the pavement for the lulz. The 0 XP ability is exactly what it sounds like, cause yes, it will prevent you from gaining any experience, so use at your own risk, you tryhards. Any and all power-up items like AP points and defense ups should be used on Sora and Sora alone in the menu. You can set your field recovery item slots to restock themselves by simply pressing the button. The Koopo coin, or as some people call it, the Koopo coin, is an item that immediately revives you if your health falls to 0. It's pretty useful, but you can only hold one at a time, so remember to rebuy them often if you want to cheat death constantly. Rage form is your panic button form, which has a high chance of appearing when you are dying. The form immediately gives you full health and MP, but you can only attack while it's active and nothing else. A little inconvenient sometimes. However, if you want to get the benefits and shut it off quickly, simply spam wrist charge until you disco dance your way out and then heal right after. You can use items in midair. I repeat, you can use items in mid-air, and this will definitely save your life. Don't forget, if you die, there is a retry and prepare option, which lets you use the menu to fix out your loadout before you get back out there. A lot of the main Keyblade upgrade materials can be found in space or bought from the store once they unlock. Also, some materials are just easier to buy rather than farm, cause you know, capitalism. Don't know what dishes to pick for a basic buff? Well then just go with what you got and use the Chef's Choice button instead. Voila! There is a single manta ray swimming in the Caribbean Ocean. Stop by and say hi when you get the chance, cause he seems awfully lonely. You basically gotta 100% the game if you want to get all of the Keyblades, and this includes Oathkeeper and Oblivion. Apparently, even veterans don't do this even though they totally should, but read the secret reports. Please, for me. Okay? Just do it before I shove them up your butt! Tragic news for people who play these games too much, but you only get 10 save slots for some reason, so be careful with overriding files. Also, for the Remind owners out there, you can load the DLC stuff or continue the base game, just depending on the button you push. You can use the Gummy Phone's archive to check for chests, recipes, synthesis items, lucky emblems, and literally every other game stat. It also contains a glossary in case any of these terms really confuse you. Peep the configuration menus when you get a chance, cause there is a bunch of options to mess around with, like even turning off the subtitles in case you want to guess what Donald is saying.
Why did you have to say that?
For those curious, here are the requirements to unlock the base game's secret ending. Or you can just watch them online if you're impatient, that works too. While Kingdom Hearts 3 doesn't have a traditional New Game Plus, it does let you transfer Keyblades from a past save into a new game, letting you go crazy and stupid from the get-go.
It's me, Charity. I've brought you here to remind you that you can now purchase the Kingdom Hearts Story So Far collection. It has all the Kingdom Hearts knowledge that you need in one single collection. So if you're gonna complain about this series being hard to play,
I don't wanna hear it.
So while some people felt that Kingdom Hearts 3 missed the mark in some areas and pushed the boundaries of what the word satisfying means after such a long wait, there was no denying it was a fun, ambitious title that acted as a huge homage to all of the games that came before and a bold bridge to the next phase of the series. KH3 was really the first entry that truly captured the looks and feel of the Disney films to a T, but it also maintained that trademark KH emotional weirdness that has kept the series' wild ride alive and well for so long. long, but I hope this Basics Beginner's Guide makes your gaming experience a little better. So please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Yo, yiggity yo, welcome to the end of the video. Hard to believe, y'all, but I am not dead, despite what recent comments have been saying. It's also kind of weird considering I've been active literally everywhere else, but bet you never thought you'd see this episode, huh? Well, it's here, it's done, and Lord knows there's a lot more where this came from. But this kind of content is only possible through the support of my lovely patrons. Hugs and kisses all around, y'all. You are truly the lifeblood of this channel. Cannot thank you enough, so mwah! Mwah! Love y'all. And of course, this episode's Patreon shoutout goes to Mazin Cody, Nick Freechek, and Gage Flores. Thank you all so much for your support, and don't forget that your heart is your guiding key. Also, want to give credit to the amazing friends who helped create this video, either through lending their voice, face, or talents. Like for reals, the They Had It Coming segment was actually created by Bulbalites, so please go ahead and check them out, along with everybody else you see here. Also, if you want to see more laid-back content from me, consider checking out my side channel, SuperButterBuns, my Twitch, and/or my Twitter for gaming yells and updates. But yeah, that kind of wraps it up for this video. It's way too long to begin with, so follow something, do what you want, and y'all will be hearing from me again very, very soon. Toodles!